passing underneath. You don't see, and supposedly, so see right here, this is it's getting the reflection of the sun. If anybody's ever seen the ISS from the ground, when you're looking up, there's no way this little bit of sun glare, it's barely bright enough to look like it's reflecting very much. Yet this is what you see from the ground when it goes above your head, which is ridiculous because it doesn't fluctuate in light. That's another thing. You don't see it get brighter, get lighter, get brighter, get lighter. It's just that solid color. And I guess I can show that from a video where, so see all these color changes. It's doing these crazy kind of oranges and reds, and then it just goes out usually. We'll see. We'll wait till it goes out. But then I'll show you the actual ISS going above our head. And you don't see anything going below it. There's no reason why a camera wouldn't pick up light down here now. If you're going above a part of the Earth with lights on it. And I don't even see it wait. I mean, that wasn't very long that little glare was up there. Yet usually you can see it for a good, 10 minutes if it's a good pass. So I'll go and show you that. Let's see here. I don't remember when that video was recently. I love this too. Whenever I look it up, it always is Reds Rhetoric's video that I'm flat out wrong. It's the first thing that comes up. So thanks a lot. Good choice for videos to put on there.
Yeah, sure. Don't you love YouTube's algorithms or Google's algorithms?
Yeah. Let me see if I have this video. Hopefully I do. Well, what was it called? I don't remember where that one is. I don't remember. It's the one that my wife and I just did recently. We showed the this one here. So just to show you what the ISS looks like going over. And this was so obvious. I mean, time in the screenshot. So I shut myself up there. We were showing this thing was getting ready to go over us, and there was absolutely not a cloud in the sky. And let's see, go back a little bit. Just showing, and I'll maximize it as soon as I get on the right spot. And this is it. Oh yeah, we're actually showing Jupiter there. And then as soon as we look down here, you can see the ISS starts coming. That's not it. It's where is it? Can't tell. No, this is Jupiter, I think. Yeah, because you can actually see the so-called moons. That's just with our camera zoomed in. You can see two of them, I think, there. But then right now we saw and this is right first thing in the morning, maybe 5 minutes after sunrise or so. And so now we pull down and then we see the ISS coming here. There it is. So this light maintains its brightness. Yeah, it may look like it's fluctuating because it's the camera, but it's just a bright light, and it's just going to go right across our heads. But it's nothing like the view from the ISS showing that's supposed to be sun reflection, and it looks like a light. It just looks like a bright light.
How long was that after sunset?
No, it was it was in the morning. It was probably 5 minutes after sunrise.
Okay, so it was still sort of like twilight in the morning.
Yeah, and actually, we actually show. Let me show you. Is it here at the beginning? We actually show what it looked like outside right before.
And it was coming up sort of from like up from the southwest, right?
From the southwest. So the sunrise is behind us.
Right, gotcha.
To our left, and it was brighter than it looks. In this view, it actually kind of looks dark here, but it was brighter outside than that. And then the funny thing is there's not a cloud in the sky, not even one. It's completely clear. And then this is the image that the ISS live showed going over California. So it's like,
that's crazy.
It's just nonsense. And then I was shooting my laser at it, trying to get it to crash.
Yeah, but that's just crazy, because obviously if you can get a line of sight to obviously what would be a very, very faint light from there, then there obviously isn't this massive cloud cover everywhere. I mean, there's no clouds even to be seen. So obviously they're just forging it, man. They're faking it.
Absolutely. And this is kind of what I tried to tell people, and you'll see it darting and diving. It's like, I don't know. This was enough to tell me, like, okay, I'm not even going to look at this thing anymore, because it certainly isn't what they say. There's no way the video should show clouds. And we made sure we came in and did the video that morning, if I remember right. And we showed all the feeds, because I had recorded the feed when we went outside, and we showed it a couple times, showing you the timestamps. I mean, there's just no arguing about it, that what they're showing is not what's currently going on. And that's why I was excited about this thing on Wednesday. My hope was that we'd be able to see some people go outside and see if it matched the views from the ISS. And of course, they never even showed the Earth one time. What a joke.
Yeah, redonkulous. I
So
tell
anyway,
you, man, NASA never fails to amaze.
no, they certainly don't. They're it's just garbage. It really, I can't. And that's the thing I really thought that people would get, that people just can't see, I guess, or what I thought would be easy for them to see is it's so clear that they don't provide anything that would be required to call something proof. And yeah, there's math. Yeah, there's a great some images, and there's some videos, and there's some satellite images, and there's the moon going across. Everything is just stopped short of being what people would consider proof. And yet, obviously, that must not be true, because you've got 95% of the world that will tell you that it's been proven time and time again. Yet when people start looking into this, this is why they can't get out of it. And this is, like, did you watch the sit down conversation with Eddie and Joe Rogan?
Which one? I know there were sort of a few.
It's kind of the most recent one. It was probably about an hour long, where they just talked pretty much flat Earth the whole time.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think so. Is Joe Rogan being a complete butthead, or is he opening up to it?
No, he's being a complete ass. He just
I might have seen it.
Yeah, he just doesn't get it. And the thing that bothered me most about it is at one point, Eddie's saying, dude, you just haven't looked into it yet. And he says, you don't think I've looked into this? You don't think I've looked into it? You're going down this rabbit hole. You don't think I've checked out what these guys are talking about? But yet he doesn't understand the North Pole star Polaris. Seems to think that it will move in a couple of months. It talks about how, the star patterns you're seeing, the circular, those are just because it's being taken in such a short time. That's only a few hours, Eddie. It's like, dude, what are you talking about? And then you've got them basically cornering him over the Michelson-Morley experiment, because that guy, Jamie, that's the co-host, gets in front of everybody and says, oh, no, that was supposed to be duplicated or, repeated, the test, and they could never repeat it. And he said, so that's bullshit. All you flat Earth guys are going to that as being evidence, but it was never repeated. And I was like, please say it. Because what wasn't repeated is the fact that they were trying to prove that the Earth spins. So that's what they didn't prove, but they were not trying to repeat that the Earth doesn't spin. Those guys were all scientists. That's not what the outcome they wanted. What they were trying to repeat was something that would show that the Earth spins, but every time they ran the test, they were getting that the Earth doesn't spin. So Eddie was absolutely right in what he was saying, that is great proof. And both those guys were hee-hawing about how funny it was that he was bringing up this or that. It's just nonsense, because they just won't look at it. They won't allow themselves to even question it. And, I guess I understand why, because you have to realize deep down inside you that once you do, and you see some of the things we're talking about, there's just no way back. You just I could never go back to believing in a ball. I would have to be shown such great evidence that, I don't see them coming up with anytime soon. I wanted to bring up,
and I did see at least bits and pieces of that Joe Rogan thing, and yeah, they totally were like not getting the Aries failure and Michelson-Morley experiments at all, and they basically discredited a straw man representation of what those experiments were supposed to be, involving. And, they absolutely failed to detect curvature of the Earth. And so they were sort of buried. And, Eddie Bravo was sort of trying to explain it. But, it's a tough thing to explain complex, ideas and experiments to people who simply refuse to listen and shout over you and call you stupid. So I definitely feel his pain, and I appreciate what he's doing. He's taking a lot of heat from his peers, and he's sticking with it. So gotta love him, man.
Yeah, big ups to the guy, because he's absolutely getting a hit. I mean, that's like a 3-on-1. That's kind of a situation I've been in, only once, and it's a tough place to put yourself. And these guys should at least do the amount of research that he's done before they're going to conversate on it, because otherwise you're just you're not going to get your point across. And you're totally right that it was funny, because that guy Jamie, they calls him Young Jamie, comes out from behind the desk and says, Eddie says it's never been proven that the Earth spins, which is true. And Jamie comes out and says, you can't say things like that. You can't say things like that. Eric Dubay says things like that. and he doesn't back it up. You can't say things like that. And he says, no, it's true. You know, here's the test, here's this and that. And he says, no, that's not true. Then they wrongfully explain the experiment. And he says, that guy Jamie again, saying, hey, I've already looked it up. I've looked into all this. I read about it, and you're wrong. It's not proof of the Earth doesn't spin. He explains what he thinks he knows about it. And the funniest thing about that is, in one research assignment, the guy just blew it worse than Eric Dubay has blown it in 250 videos. So he makes fun of Eric Dubay by saying, you know, you can't say that. Eric Dubay says that, and he doesn't back it up. And then in one research assignment, he couldn't get the gist of one experiment, explains it completely wrong. I mean, I haven't heard Eric Dubay do that yet. I haven't heard Eric Dubay talk about an experiment and completely blow it in the 180-degree opposite way, which is what this guy did. It's so funny that these people feel comfortable in making fun of somebody, and they themselves can't do any research. That's the worst, rendition of an experiment I've heard anybody do. I haven't heard a flat earther come out and give an experiment and completely get it 100% wrong about what you think the outcome was. You know,
and if we did, we'd never hear the end of it. We'd never live it down. But frankly, you know, the position that the mainstream has is, you know, supported by scientism, and so they can just basically waller in ignorance and make absolutely no sense. And the herd mentality is going to, you know, go along with them because they've got science on their side, even though they're totally misrepresenting the entire situation.
Yeah, and if you just look up fraud in science, I mean, recently it's starting to come out even more and more. That I think just this week, 100 and something journals were pulled. Let me see if I can change this to past month. Yeah, this one here, 107 cancer papers retracted due to various reasons, but mostly because the authors faked the peer review process. It says 58 papers were retracted from 7 different journals. Oh, that's last year. So it's possible to fake peer review because authors are often asked to, suggest potential reviewers for their own papers. So, I mean, this is like the ultimate nonsense that, if you really think about it, that you have people who are having their journals or their papers peer reviewed, which is like your friends are reviewing it. Well, guess what? I could come up with an article that says that Neil deGrasse is a complete and total clown. And if I passed it out to Mark Sargent and John and Bob and all my peers, well, guess what? They're all going to agree with me. And then if we publish it and just say, this is fact now, it's fact that he's a clown, he works at the circus, wears big red shoes, that doesn't make it any, I mean, how is that a process that's going to get to the truth? You're just letting your little echo chamber repeat things, and people will parade this around like this is the best thing that ever happened to the world is peer review. But it says here, this is done because research subjects are often blindly niche. A researcher working in a subfield may be more aware of than the journal editor about who is best placed to assess the work. But some journals go further and request or allow authors to submit the contact details of these potential reviewers. If the editor isn't aware of a potential for scam, which it should be a potential all the time, they then merely send the requests for review out to fake email addresses, often using the names of actual researchers. At the other end of the fake email address is someone who's in on the game, happy to send in a friendly review. I mean, when you see this, we need to just halt the way science is practiced completely. How can you have 107 papers retracted because they're all done through fraud? And these are things that people use to say what's true. And the whole point of science is that it never can find the truth. That's the point of science. You're always getting closer to the truth. And it's, people will tell you the great thing about science is it's always changing. And, we like to have the guy that's opposing us will he wants to try and prove us wrong. That's bullshit. It just pisses me off that this is the kind of thing that people consider to be, here's Harvard to pay $10 million to settle scientific fraud. If it's not obvious, then I don't know what to tell people, that if they can't do this themselves and research this stuff and to realize there's a major, major problem when science becomes government backed. And guess who pays for every penny of this research? Who do you think paid for the bullshit? Granted, there wasn't any, it must have been bullshit, but there was some research, or there was the writing of these papers. Well, guess who pays them their money? It's you and I. It's our taxes. We're paying for fraud, yet you've got 90% of the world that will walk around and tout these guys as some sort of beyond human beings that don't care about prestige, who don't care about money, who don't care about power and fame, that they just care about science. that they just want to be debunked. I mean, if Lawrence Krauss says one more time that a scientist's best day is when he goes in and gets to debunk his own nonsense, or I mean, whatever they say, it's just such stupid, retarded stuff. I can't stand it. It's just not. It's not real. It's not how things work. These are human beings. Human beings have. We're all the same. You know, we all don't want to be shown that we're wrong. We all, you know, want to keep our jobs if we have a job going where we're getting paid well. Nobody wants to read a paper from somebody saying the earth is flat and then go, oh, this guy's right. Yep, my entire life has been a waste. Let's put this paper out there. No, you do that and you're going to get shut down. Did you hear about that thesis paper that was written about the flat earth?
Yeah, I heard something about it. I read a little into it, and I got sidetracked. But yeah, I have heard of it. But backing up a little bit to like Lawrence Krauss, you know, he even says himself that if someone approaches him with an idea that's outside of Einsteinian, you know, accepted science, that he basically just ignores them and throws it away, puts it in the junk. In terms of peer review, you know, we got this whole global warming consensus of scientists based on total fraud, and it involved things like, you know, certain scientists who are on government dole payroll, you know, being asked questions, and the way that the questions are phrased are sort of, you know, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but you have to choose one or the other, and so there's no sort of middle ground. And then, of course, they skew the numbers, and they make it seem like 99% of scientists believe that global warming is a thing and it's man-made. But when you actually go and research like who these scientists are that are saying this, they're saying, no, I was asked would I participate in a study, but I never, you know, agreed to this. And it's like so many of them have gone on record, and yet we still have this whole global warming narrative where, you know, you're basically taxing cow flatulence and wanting to tax the air, and it's just crazy how the religion of scientism you know, just totally distorts facts and calls it peer-reviewed fact. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's nothing